We are live. Happy Lunar New Year, Herman.
Welcome.
Welcome to everybody. We want to wish you all a very happy Lunar New Year, and we want to answer some questions. We want to talk with you guys. So we have some exciting things to share. We're going to do a little countdown, prep things for us, and then we'll see you in 30 seconds. Sound good? That countdown gets me every time. How about you, Herman?
Is it a movie? Is it a trailer? Is it a what?
Yeah, I love it. It sets the tone, right? We want to cover a lot of stuff, but we need you guys to be here with us, right? So we can share the value. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to know where you're at. How are you guys spending the day? How are you guys spending the very first day of the year of the ox? Let us know in the comments. So Herman, how do you usually spend your day?
That's a secret.
Fair enough.
No, I don't know if anyone's commenting, so let's see if we get any comments first.
There we go. We got Jay from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you tuning in, Jay. Who else is with us? I know there's some of you. I know Jay's at work too, and he even put that comment in.
Mm-hmm.
We have Hart as well. Hart Summer, supposed to be working too. We got Georgina from Texas. Hart is from Kansas City. I have Jillian from the UK. We have Anite, I intend on pronouncing it right, from Maine.
Okay. So, where do you want to start?
Let's start Lunar New Year. I think It's a very special day, and I never really understood the importance of New Year. Even the traditional Gregorian New Year. I never even understood the importance of that, but even there's value in preparing for the new year and making sure that you're ready for the shift, for the change, making sure that you're on the right side and not the wrong side. And so I think even being that it's like the Lunar New Year, if anybody doesn't know what the Lunar New Year is, it follows nature, right, Herman? Follows the moon cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I wouldn't say it's an important day. From everything that you've shared with us in the inner circle, like how to prepare for it and what to do leading up to it, I think that I know all of us in the IC really take this very seriously because we're serious about the growth and we just want to make sure that we do things the right way. But we didn't know what the right way was before. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that. But to me, it was more of like, let's go hang out with friends. Let's go party. Let's go see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't really ushering in the new year with that same intention or that same specialness, as opposed to now where like a lot of us are taking a lot of the guidance that you shared and making sure like things are clean, decluttered, making sure like we're at our best, making sure we're ready for all of the changes, all of the growth, all of the things that are going to take place this year.
Well, this is the time when you have to reserve the day so that you can observe it. If you don't reserve it, and then you don't observe it. And if you do anything that are major change or major alterations or major shifts, like any form of reno or any form of destroying or any form of demo, that kind of stuff, this is not the day to do that. It will not be the smartest thing to do because this is the day you're supposed to bring in the reservation and the observation. So you can reserve the day to ensure like you start off the day right. You ended, think of it like a balance sheet. You ended off the previous year, you balanced your books, so you know what you can do to start off the new year. And that's what that day is, to ensure like you have everything ready so that on the second day, you're ready to go. But if you don't, and it's not reserved and then it's not observed, then it will be a very, very arduous type of year. So it will be a little more difficult for you to have a lot of those things come easier for you. That's why you have to observe. When you look at the moon, what do? You stand, you observe the full moon.
Exactly.
When you look at a harvest, you stand, you observe before you just take, right? So that's why you have to be very cautious on the type of things you do on very specific days, so that you can make sure things favor you more versus less. And if we can wear things like red today, if we can make sure we don't cut things today, if we can make sure that, you know, things are more in orderly fashion today, then things will be a lot easier for the observation. But if we go against that and we don't have that observation, things will tend to be rough at the start.
And I think living in such a fast-paced world where everything is so quick, the attention span is so small, it's like to really observe and take that time to respect nature. I think it's something that has been like maybe lost. And maybe it's been like something that not a lot of people practice as much compared to back in the day, because let's face it, like we're in a world today where the attention span is less than 10 seconds, where observing is boring, or there's less than 3.
That's scientifically proven too.
Now that's intense. We need to do something about, everybody on this live stream needs to do something about that. Because if you can't focus, like you can't get the results you're looking for, right? How can you?
Oh, go look at insurance companies, specifically auto insurance. How's your premium? Because the new stats that came out, what? Attention. Just being real. And there's a lot of people who still text and drive. Even when you have a hands-free, your mind is somewhere else. They're not focused. So highly recommended that you have to learn to multitask, number one. You have to learn to have real focus. And if you don't, this year is going to be a little more difficult because it's going to demand a lot of you. And if you're not ready to put in your best or be your best, it's going to be very difficult for you to have a better outcome.
Okay. I mean, that's the truth right there. So if you guys need to write that down, make sure you keep that with you throughout this year. Like that may be a good idea. If you guys have questions, put them in the comments. We'll definitely go over some of your questions. We want to help provide some value to you. So Herman, on a day like this, when you say observe, are there specific things that you do that you would want to share with everybody? I know maybe not everybody's ready for like the Herman Sue, daily life, because I know the standard is really high, but are there certain things that others can do if they're on this live stream that maybe would help them in this coming year?
Well, the biggest thing I would highly recommend for everyone to do is ensure that you put in as much effort as you possibly can in everything you do. Don't do things halfway, quarter way, nickel way, dime way. Don't do it that way. Do it full. Like you do something, you commit to that, you see it to the end. So let's give an example. You say you want to be healthier, but if you're given things that you know you shouldn't be eating or things you shouldn't be doing, and you do it anyways, then you sabotage yourself. You break all of the trust that you have inside internally, and then you will have a dis-ease, which means your peace has now been imbalanced. That's when a lot of sickness and ailments will find you. But if you really commit to the discipline, you commit to your trust, you commit to all the things you say you're going to do, and you actually do it. And let's say you follow through. Okay, we got through the first 10 days, we got through the first 20, got through the first 30. It's only rear view mirror after that, because it's like you work towards that, then you got to the first 100. Now it's like rear view mirror after that. And you have to make sure you don't stop moving forward with that effort. They say, okay, let's focus on getting this one done. And then we take and convert that and duplicate that in something else. So let's say we want the health part. Now let's focus on the wealth part. Where is all your so-called attention going to? Is it, oh, this is the shiniest new thing? Is this the latest new thing? Is this the latest trend or the latest hype? If it's not classic and if it's not timeless, then all your stuff is basically just going down the drain. If it's not essential or necessary, it's going to be very difficult to get the same value back if you were to go resell it. So maybe we do a certain internal audit and be real with ourselves and not be afraid what you see on the other end, because that's what this year is about, right? You just ended the 1 year. Balance the books, balance the books, balance the books internally. So that now you go into the new fiscal year, if you want to call it that, then you ensure, okay, let's make this first quarter about this. Let's make the second quarter about that, the third quarter about this, and then the stretch run on the fourth quarter. So highly recommend that each and every person does like that internal audit. And once you do so, be real with yourself. There's no emotion in that. There's no distraction in that. There's no nonsense and drama in that. It's just what's at the core. What's real, what isn't, what's fact, what's false, and what you're left over with after that, that's what we must address and face so that it can grow into something better. But if we always run and hide and we don't want to face it, then it's going to grow little weeds. Then it's going to become sticky on one part because it started gathering dirt. Then the other side becomes a little darker and dirtier. Then the other side becomes neglected. And then what do you call that? Then you call that your mind. And then because the mind doesn't have the discipline, then the body starts to let go. Body starts to get sick. Body starts to not be in optimal primal shape. Then the soul is going to be unfulfilled. Then you would just be the worker of the ox, just plowing the fields senselessly without any real vision as to why you do it. You got to make every effort count, and you got to be your best.
And I think when you do run and hide, like, it makes that audit a lot more difficult, because then you have all the weeds, and I don't know, sometimes maybe a weed is, maybe it looks like something it's not, right? I know that there are some weeds that you're like, maybe you look at them and you're like, wait, is that supposed to be there, or is it not supposed to be there? And then it just kind of leads you into a spiral where you're questioning yourself a lot. And I don't think that's a fun game to play. So it's better to do the audit now, even if you do have the weeds. Like Herman said, like, if you continue to maybe let go of things you don't need and continue to make sure that you're doing things the right way and putting in effort, then maybe auditing comes easier as you let go of more of those weeds inside.
And if you need help with auditing, Angelo, I believe we can help them with that. And we've specifically put together something to help everybody with that. Yeah,
we have many things to help people with their audit. So, I mean, first and foremost, we have a webinar tomorrow. It's completely free. It's very interactive. It's going to be on the topic of relationships and love. So it's definitely going to be a special topic, because I talk to a lot of people that reach out and want help. And I know that a common thing that a lot of people say is they don't love themselves, or they have a hard time loving themselves. They're seeing the value in who they are. And when that relationship with ourselves is broken, then the relationship to other people is broken, because it's just a reflection. And so if you really want to have that understanding and have more clarity with yourself and with the other people around you, I highly, highly recommend you join the webinar. I mean, I personally wouldn't miss it if I were you. So I can share a link where everybody can go sign up for that if you haven't already signed up. Again, it's going to be tomorrow. And it's completely free. So there is the link. You guys should see the link. I put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, but that would be step one. But I know that there's more that we have created. There's more that we have to share with everybody. So Herman, can we talk zodiacs a little bit?
Yeah, let's go into it.
So
let's see how many people are interested in that first. Let's go there.
Who would want to talk zodiacs? Let us know. Put like a 1 in the chat.
Yeah.
Put a one in the chat if you want some zodiac talk. And in the meantime, we have Myrtle tuning in with us. Thank you for this live. This is helpful. Was like a brief update for me. Thank you. Awesome. We're really excited to have you. Let's see who else is with us. Catherine says we live in an age of instant gratification. That's pretty true. I know that there's a couple of questions. We're definitely going to get to your guys' questions. So just type them in the chat if you haven't already. But is that enough ones, Herman? Do you think the interest is there? Because we want to bring you guys stuff that you're interested in, obviously.
Yeah, let's see how many ones we can get. Let's go there. How many ones can we get? I want to make sure the enthusiasm's there. I want to make sure that you're ready for this.
Let's go. And Night knows where she's going to be tomorrow. Okay, well, I think we got some ones in the chat. So let's talk Zodiac. Where do we start, Herman? I mean, this is a huge one.
It's where do you want to take it? I can talk about this for years upon years and still not be done.
Years upon years? That's crazy. So do you guys have any questions about Zodiacs? The Chinese Zodiacs in specific? Or even if you want to go Western, like I'm sure Herman can explain the differences and share what the main differences are.
I just don't like the Western one in terms of where it gets lost in the drama or the emotions and that sort of stuff, because it tends to make people go down the wrong path or deviate from the focus.
That's a great point. For me, I never really resonated with the Western sign. And when I learned what my Chinese zodiac was, number one, I got it wrong. I thought my sign was something, but it was another thing because I was basing it off of just the year and not taking into account the Lunar New Year. Because again, today's February 12th, and we're now going into year of the ox. So anybody born in this year now is considered an ox. And so when I found out mine and really learned about those characteristics, I mean, they really hit home. And the thing that I liked about it a lot was that it wasn't necessarily like you were saying, Herman, the emotions and all of the things of that nature. It was more so like factual. And that's what I really liked about it. So we have a question. I'm not sure if we would need to expand on this a little bit, how to achieve ox goal, because I'm not sure exactly what that means.
I'm not, it can go two different ways. I mean, well, let's just figure out achieve ox what goal. There's something missing in between there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we can figure out what the ox goal is. Yeah.
So, Whale Harmony, if you want to add on to that question, let us know. I really want to make sure we answer it for you. I see you comment on the YouTube videos all the time, so don't think we don't see those because we appreciate all of the comments that you're sharing. So we have from Sam, what's the explanation of the Chinese zodiac of the rat, please?
So we will go briefly, but we can't go because there's so many comments, so many questions. So we'll go only briefly if that's okay.
Yep, we can go briefly.
Yeah, because we really want to share like the full elaborate side of it after, but we can only go briefly right now. So in regards for the rat, the first thing you have to learn to do is learn how to count every single thing that you do and you own up to. See, with the rat, what happens is sometimes they have this shiny object syndrome, and they just tend to want to like hoard or acquire or to have or to become attached to certain things. And then when the rat tends to have those things, sometimes they forget what they have because they buried it, and then they look for the next thing that's shiny or find the next thing that's shiny, and then they forget to put the best effort as to what it is that they need, what it is that they need to work on in this year to make sure that they're at their best. So you want to make sure your resources are not being whittled away with shiny object syndrome. Don't focus on, well, you know what? I have the latest iPhone, but you know what? The latest one just came out yesterday. So, you know, this one's 6 months old, so let's go get the new one. Like that, you don't really need that, right? I mean, you should really do your homework before you get something. And then if there's something you want for the future one, then maybe wait and be smarter on your investment. But for a lot of rats, they have to be very careful of the hoard-in syndrome, and they have to be very cautious of going into the year of the ox. That transition may be bumpy at the beginning because the efforts that are there are going to challenge you to see whether or not you're going to put up. See, it's like in sports, you either put up or you shut up. That's what we use in sports. So in the year of the ox, the rat has to prove that it can continue to put up. Otherwise, if not, then they're going to go outwardly to find comfort. And that's where the shiny syndrome comes in.
Well, that was really helpful. That was more than just a little brief share. So thank you, Herman.
And if you want more of that, I mean, Angelo, can you share them where they can get more of that?
Yeah, of course. So if you want more like zodiac knowledge, if you want the full schematics, if you want to know not just your sign, but you know, your parents or your spouse or your kids, anybody in your life sign, then we created an entire course for that actually. And it breaks down all the characteristics of each sign in depth. And it talks a lot about how they think, how they operate, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And it shares a lot of that with you so that number one, it can help you with your own sign. But number two is to really help you learn about all the signs, because we're not supposed to just be limited to one, right, Herman? We're supposed to really take the strengths from each of them and learn to supersede our signs. So that's what the course is really all about. And then it has a lot of like the compatibility, you know, relationship wise. It also has the elements. It also has, you know, teaches you how to use the zodiacs and use astrology to get healthier. And so mentally, physically, spiritually. So it's pretty in depth. So for us, we're like, we need to create a full blown page to help, you know, like share exactly what's in there. So I just posted that link, and feel free to go there and check out the course. Anybody that's gone through it, like I'd love to hear your feedback so far. So, So we'll go through a couple more. I know Whale Harmony posted a few more comments. So the first one was how to achieve Ox goal. I work on a project and near finish, but still can't go forward. All the time, distraction on my way. So it sounds like Whale Harmony is, the goal is to finish the project, nearly finished, but a lot of distractions are getting in the way.
So I'm going to ask all of you a question. Let's say we're going on a flight and there's a huge delay before you can even get into the line. Everybody's itching to get on the plane. Have you been in the airport? Everybody's just itching to get on, They don't care what zone they're in. They just want to be first. Okay, so you want to be first? Go on. Then there's a huge mad rush. So that's the first obstacle. Then you finally get on, then you have, it's line after line after line, because then you got to wait for the people in front to put their stuff on top or put their stuff away and get seated, or you got to wait for everybody else to move forward from certain zones to go through, or you got to make sure that the people who are handling the tickets can move in a fast, efficient way to get you on your way. But it's just line after line, delay after delay. And so what happens? People start to get a little frustrated. People start to get a little impatient, if you will. This year, going into the year of the ox, is going to be like that. It's going to be line after line of test after test. But you get over that once you know, okay, well, someone talked to us, the pilot talked to us, or the stewardess talked to us and said, we just have a few delays, but if you could just bear with us and we'll be on our way. So if everyone could just do their part, we can get on our way faster. So once they start communicating with you, once they start putting you at ease, what happens? Everybody's going to get there. The line and the impatience starts to go down, and everyone becomes a little more efficient. But if it's holidays, mad rush, everybody's only thinking about themselves, nobody gets to their goal. Nobody gets to the end. Nobody gets to the very, very end of where they want to be. So no one can get to the destination. So for all of us on this, think of it this way. We all want results. So let's say results is our target. We all want results in life. But there's line after line that we keep putting in front of ourselves. The one line's maybe the TV, the next one's maybe the cell phone, the next one is maybe drama, the next one's maybe distraction of something else, whatever you want to call A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. So what are you going to do to get to the results? Well, are you communicating with yourself to have the discipline? No discipline, no results. Are you communicating with yourself to micromanage so that you can ensure that you have a methodology to go about doing so with a schedule? No schedule, no positioning, no results. Are you doing anything to ensure that you put your best efforts when your best efforts are questioned and life wants to throw another curveball at you? Are you running or are you hiding? You run and hide, no results. So that's why the term in sports is you put up or you shut up, because you have to put in all your best efforts, the time, the effort, the time, the effort, the experience. And if you're not willing to do so and build the characteristic that experience builds, it's going to be a very difficult experience for you this year. So I highly recommend you become a lot more flexible in the body, in the mind, so that you can make sure that you keep putting the best effort. Because if you don't put the best effort, there's nobody else to blame other than ourselves.
That's the truth. I mean, I know that there's so much that happens and goes on outside of us and around us, but it's very important to do that internal audit, like Herman said, because these are things that we all have control over. Like, I don't think anything you've mentioned so far, Herman, is something that someone else has control. Like, we're in control of our effort. We're in control of our discipline. We're in control of our attention, our focus. We're in control of all of those things. And if we can just learn how to master those, like each one at a time, then the year will be much more easier.
And you will be very, very surprised. If you get out of your own way, ego out, humility in, take humility in, and we say we're going to follow what was just said, word for word, step by step, move for move, you'll be very surprised how quick results show up. But you don't follow to the exact manner, to the exact way, then it's going to be a little more arduous, a little more difficult. Can you imagine what happens? You're an ox on the land, on the farmland, and you need to plow in a very specific manner. But the ox says, no, I like going diagonal. So it cuts through all the stuff that you just did. Is it going to work? No.
No way.
Because you have to plow first, then you plant. But what happens if you're plowing what you just planted? Then it all wasted. Then you waste it, then there's not going to be a harvest. No harvest, nothing on your table, nothing on anyone else's table. Everybody loses.
Mm-hmm.
But if we follow the pattern, the straight row, and we create that discipline so that all the rows. Have you ever seen a farm? How do they know how to get it so straight? Experience. They're willing to be disciplined enough to make sure that that expression is from the experience that they have gained and attained. A lot of people can't even do that with a car, let alone walking. And yet these farmers can take animals and the machines and able to get the most perfect lines for miles and miles and miles that you see it and it just looks like art on the land. They're the artists of the land. And when they do that, do you see them that they have to post on social media? Oh, look at how far I did this for 8 miles. They don't post that stuff.
No.
Why?
But that's not what they do it for.
They post the harvest. Everybody wants the beauty of the harvest, the supersized whatever, right? Zucchini or the pumpkin or the supersized whatever you want to call it. They post the harvest, but it all started with the discipline and the straightness. And if you don't have that discipline and the straightness, you won't have the harvest that's going to get the maximum amount of results. Do you understand me?
It's very clear. Is it clear to you guys? This is some great stuff on Zodiac. Thank you for sharing, Herman. So we've had a couple of questions come up, and let's see, I'm just scrolling through some of these comments. I think there was a few that were similar. So Alim says, I'm born October 1985 in Ox. I heard Ox year is not good for the Ox person.
Yeah, it becomes a challenge. And the reason being is because the energy of that year tends to challenge you if your ego's in the way. I'll give an example. Let's say you want something. So let's say you want said target, whatever that target is that you may want. Let's say this is your target. But you say you can only think about yourself and only focus and obsess about that target. Because of the year you're in, the winds have changed. The aura, the energy of that year has changed. So then said target now has shifted. But you say, I only want this, I. Life itself will come and make you humbled to realize that you should not be obsessed with this target. You should say, I will get what is deserved of my efforts. And with the ox, they tend to be stubborn because when they want to set target and they don't want to put certain efforts and they want instant, because that's what the world says, then they start to lose their essence, their humility. They start to lose a lot of their specialness. They start to lose a lot of their hard work and energy, their efforts that gets them the results fast. That if they didn't have it just on one target, but says, you know what, instead of it being so focused on one, how about I focus on making sure that I spread out the so-called results, spread out the focus, spread out the methodology, spread out the strategy, spread out the way I do things in a schedule, so that it is not that I just drive to one thing and I keep knocking on the cement door that's closed because I don't have the right payment to get to the other side. And if you are the ox and going into the year the ox, and it becomes where you don't fully understand who you are, but you have an ego that's well beyond and greater than planet itself, it will be a very difficult year because life is going to want to humble you. That is why it's more difficult. But if you are humbled and you do everything where, okay, you know what, I'm driving my head into a wall, this is not picking up steam, how about we shift our efforts and come back to it in a day's time? But ox don't like that. Ox like extreme. And that's where the ego goes wrong. That's how they build their ego, off extreme or extremity. And when they go too far to the extreme, the second they want to go from 0 to 1,000, not 100 to 1,000, they want to be there first. They get there first. They realize, oh, you know what? Everybody's left behind. Let me go back. Oh, I lost all my enthusiasm. I give up. Then what's going to happen? Then you will go to the year of the tiger. Tiger's going to eat you alive. You go to the year of the rabbit's going to make sure you can't catch anything, so you have nothing to show for it. And then we just go on more and more like that in the course of the very specificity of how and what we need to be doing.
Exactly. I mean, it literally blew my mind because, you know, I look at my family, I look at the people around me, and when Herman goes through these characteristics, it's fun. It's so much fun to listen to it because you're able to understand them and how they think or how they process things and why maybe they do certain things. And it's really an eye opener because once you can see that, then it's like you don't get caught up in the nonsense or the drama, right? You can kind of see it and you're like, okay, that's maybe why they're doing this. Let me do it a different way. And life just gets a lot easier when you have that help, when you have that knowledge.
And ox don't like to step back. They just want to start something and then put on blinders and that's it. And we have to take off the blinders as an ox and say, you know what? Maybe we come back to this when we are clear. Come back to this when we have a little help. Come back to this when we have a little guidance versus I feel like I can do it myself. Let's just get it done. You get it done. It's not good. Don't want to do anything again. That's a very bad attitude. And that will be the bane of the existence of the ox. It will hunt them.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically like one of their best attributes, which is like the work ethic, ends up being a curse because they don't have like the balance, right? Herman, you talk a lot about balance all the time. And I even know for me, like sometimes when, let's say I'm working on creating something and maybe it's just not coming to me at that moment. Like I could sit in front of the computer all day and try to create something, but if it's not necessarily coming, then sometimes what has helped me is taking a little break, maybe doing like some exercise, maybe cooking something, maybe doing something more like hands-on so that I can kind of balance that. When I come back to it, it's refreshed, it's new. I can see things a little bit differently. I'm not so stuck in the head. And I don't want you guys to be stuck in the head. So if you're ever stuck in the head, like maybe get into some action, because that's what Herman has always shared with me, and it never fails to help.
So keep in mind that for everybody here, everybody's not born with the same DNA, the same time, the same moment, the same year, the same anything, right? Almost all of us are at different times and at different places too. So my question to you is, why are we all focused on when we grow up that we want to be normal or fit in, or normal and fit in, when you were designed to stand out? But how can you stand out when you don't know who you are? And if you don't know who you are, then it's going to be very difficult to get that edge, to get that step ahead that everybody else who wants to fit in is all that heavy weight and burden is stuck, while you are just by yourself, limiting nothing other than your own efforts. You will be able to pick up steam and momentum very easy. And that's what we really want to help you with, is to develop your superpower, develop you, help make you the best you can possibly be. That's what this is designed for. That's why we're doing this, is to make you the best you can possibly be. But you have to not be afraid of what you see. You have to make sure you'll be able to face it. And you know, the ones that have the toughest skin usually scare the fastest. Think about it.
So the ones that have the toughest skin scare the fastest.
But you go up to, say, let's say a duck. So there's a duck in the park, and you go by their little ones or their eggs. What do? Doesn't matter what you are, how big you are, what you have. They don't care what you have. What do? They'll do anything to protect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they just have little tiny feathers. But you go by some bigger animals, they do something similar, but they're very on edge, which means they're very easy to scare. But you go behind a little duck or something, duck's like, yeah, who's this? Why are you wasting my time? You go behind an elephant or something and you scare that elephant, all of a sudden it goes scares everybody else, create a herd of like that they want to go trample, or they want to go run away from that. So you have to be very cautious that you don't become so thick up here, so thick here the wrong way, that everything is scare, fear, anxiousness everywhere, every which direction, that then turns to drama, that then becomes self-pity. Because then if that goes down that dangerous path, your mind is going to be separated from your body, and it doesn't matter what sign you are, it'll be very difficult for you to maximize the specialness and the gift that you have inside of you. So you have to eliminate those things that keep getting in the way, so that you can be at your best, so that we can help develop that for you, so we can help show you how to make that year the best ever. This isn't the year of accomplishment. This is the year that you have to put in the effort to accomplish whatever it is. You can't compare, because your efforts may be 1,000-fold just to get next to nothing. Someone else has maybe put in this little bit and get in that, but it all depends on the position and as to what type of results you're going to get. And we want to be in the best position possible. So get out of your head, stop comparing, stop being petty, grow up, get the job done.
Absolutely. And if you want some help, then definitely check out that course, because it's basically like a cheat sheet, you know, for yourself, for your family, for your job, for your career, you know, people that you're networking with. So if you want to get that cheat sheet, I'll put the link in here one more time and you guys can go check it out. Just let us know if you have any questions. You know, we're more than happy to answer any questions. You can message us, email us, whatever's easiest for you. But I know that we have a few other questions. Herman, you want to answer some of these? I know a lot of them are about the signs, but I think we talked a lot about the zodiac. I definitely want to, I know there were some questions in the beginning that I want to make sure we get to. So we had a comment come in. It's not really a question, but I wanted to bring this one up because maybe other people can relate to this. Maybe a lot of people can relate to this. I need help. I know something is against me. I get sickness and the doctors can't find anything. And so Nancy, number one, this would definitely be something like on a personal level that Herman can definitely help you with. like really getting to the root cause of what's going on and helping you see and understand what that is. But the reason why I want to bring this up is because maybe other people feel like, something is against them. If people feel like something is against them, is there something that they can do to maybe find more ease or more clarity?
Not by themselves. Not by We all need a little help. We all need a little guidance and support. And I highly recommend, if they can't find anything, reach out to us. We can help, because that's all they do all day. You can ask Angela or anybody on the team. Everybody's always asking, you know what? I have this, I don't know why. This has happened, no one could find why. This happened, I don't know why. It's just like they don't have the answers and nobody's given it to them. And we have the answers, we want to help. But people say, you know what? No, I don't need the cheat sheet. I'll wing it. And then day two on the year of the ox, they get news that they don't like and it just crushes them and the entire year is gone. All because they didn't have the proper playbook. All because they didn't have the cheat sheet. Seen it time and time again. People always second guess certain things when the answer is right in front of them. So they say yes to all the wrong things, the sugar, the processed food, the frozen, the instant, all this. They say yes to all the wrong things, but then they say no to all the good things that are right in front of them that are going to get them the results they want. It's choice. Do you want the best out of this year for setting yourself up for the rest of your life? Do you want the best right now for the rest of your life? Do you want the best? Well, you got to make the choice to be your best. You got to make the choice to make a difference. And that's why we're here to help you. So if there's something that they can't find, message us. That's what we're here for. And if everybody's not on our email list already, text us, message us. We have a lot of things that go out there that you don't want to miss.
There it is. So if you're US or Canada, then you can text Herman and text any questions that you have, and we'll get you those answers. So that's the number right there, 818-928-3639. Make sure you write it down. Make sure you text it right now. And then this is the email. So there's the email, support@the Group. If you guys have any questions or need anything, then just reach out. It doesn't hurt to reach out. But
not at all.
But Herman, when you talked a lot about like comparing and a lot about the effort, I think that was huge, because it's so easy to compare when it's all in your face, especially if you put it there. I'm not saying you have to be on Instagram or Facebook comparing yourself to other people, but I guess it's a lot more common nowadays for people to do that. And especially when you don't know like what their circumstances are, right? Somebody could buy something new, but maybe they put it on credit. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe like you never really know, right? So it's better to stop wasting time doing that and just start doing something more productive that's going to get you ahead. And just realize that like life, is it going to be easy all the time? I would say no. Life is going to give you the test. It's going to humble you every single time. And it's the sooner that we can maybe adopt the mentality of just being a student and putting in that genuine effort and just doing our absolute best and being grateful for everything that we have, I think like whatever results you have to show for it, you never really are going to lose with that way, because like you're going to continue to go forward. And I think that's the key, like just not giving up.
Perfect example. There's a guy, two-time MVP. His father used to play for the Toronto Raptors, named Del Curry. He's this tiny little kid challenging Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, you name them, here in Toronto. And what happened? Everybody says, okay, he can shoot, but he's toothpick. Okay, he can do this, but he's slow. Okay, he can do this, but he can't handle. Everything was the excuse. So now he wants to get drafted into a college from high school. What happens? Nobody wanted him. Oh, I think it was a Division II school named Davidson that says, we can give you scholarship, but nobody else, no top tier school would give him, because they just said, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And they say, you're never going to make this, you're never going to do this, you're never going to do that. So what does he do? He says, okay, challenge accepted. Because of his parents who believe in him more than anybody else, they instilled that belief for him to go and perform against the haters, against the doubters, against the haters, against the doubters. And now he has literally transformed the game by himself, that a three-pointer is more, how do we say, desirable, or if not more flashier than an actual dunk. He's changed where a lot of people who are 7 feet and taller don't have a job because they can't shoot. When the game is demanded more skill, right, than just being big. Mm-hmm. Changed it where he took all of that negativity and it just fueled and fueled because his so-called support and belief outweighed that every single time. So it could just crush it and crush it and crush it because he believed that what he had was special. And so what did he do? He didn't compare himself to anybody else in the league because nobody has a game like him. What did he do? Effort, effort, first in, last out, effort, effort, first in, last out. And he put himself through drills that were basically a nightmare just to get to the level that he felt that he can compete. And do you know the turning point of when he won MVP? Was he had that coach named Mark Jackson, who was on the Indiana Pacers, who was very good, but he himself never won a championship. So Mark Jackson taught him all the pedigree of what it took to be elite, but he couldn't get him over the hump. And so what did they do? They go and get Steve Kerr, who won championships with Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan. Mm-hmm. Gets that championship pedigree in there, shows him exactly what, shares with him the stories of exactly what happened in those locker rooms during those championships. Mm-hmm. Because it rubs off. You need to have that championship so-called experience to rub off. You look at the past champions that win. Someone in there in that organization had some form of experience or was direct contact of 1 degree of separation at someone that did. Right? Because you need to have that standard, and then it rubs off and it rubs off and it rubs off. You don't just fluke win. We cannot just fluke our win into results. And the second you think you can, you've already lost the game. Mm-hmm. So what do you have to do? You got to put in the efforts. Doesn't matter what you have, doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the timeline. You put in the effort for what it is that you believe in and keep grinding with the right guidance, like we want to help you with the right guidance. We can get you to that spot, to that result.
Exactly. I mean, it's like Tom Brady and the Bucks, right? I mean, they got a championship. They got someone with a lot of experience who's been there before, who's done it, mm-hmm. and completely changed the organization around in 1 year. Just because they had that, and that instilled a lot of belief in all of the whole organization. And so I think that has something to say for itself. If you want that championship in your life, you got to get close to those that are champions.
And I believe he only brought one person with him, and that person came out of retirement, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it definitely says something, right? I mean, there's a lot that we can learn, especially when you're only playing one side of the ball. Like in football, you're playing offense or defense. You're not playing both. Mm-hmm. So I know you got to really trust and depend on your team a lot, because basketball is like, yeah, at least you can run down to the other side of the court and you can play defense. But football, you got to really trust in your guys. And yeah, so, I mean, and when you have someone like that, you also don't want to let them down. It raises the standard. It raises the level of accountability. Mm-hmm. I know anytime that I've made like maybe a promise to myself, it doesn't hold the same weight as to when I make a promise to, let's say, Herman. When Herman says, hey, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And that is special because it's like, I know 100% that I'm going to follow through. And that's because I gave Herman my word. So I'm not saying that that's a good thing necessarily, because you should always trust your word. You should always be able to follow through with what you say. But in a world where a lot of people aren't good at that, it's almost like a muscle that you need to rebuild or retrain. And so sometimes it's good to have a little bit of accountability so you can retrain it, so you can find that muscle again. And obviously become independent as well.
But you don't have a chain of command. And if I were to explain the whole chain of command, we'd be on this for such a long time, but that's what we're going over in our private group. That's what we're going to go over next. That's what we're going to take. And that's what we're taking to the next level of chain of command, because that's how you break out of a lot of the slumps that people are in.
Ooh, I'm excited. Who else is it?
And that's the interest you. I mean, message us, DM us, we'll get you more details. But chain of command, if you don't have it, it's not going to be disciplined enough to get you the results. So sometimes a lot of people follow a lot of other people. I'll give an example. They say one person says this, another person says that, another person says this, another person says that. They're so confused. They don't know. Should I have a routine or no routine? Because this person says no routine and I only see what they have and show off. So that means no routine. Or this person says routine, but then you know what? I do what they say. I get sick. I don't get the results. So what do I do? I'm lost. So it's like, what happens? Because no one's helping you find you. No one's helping you design you. No one's helping design you the right way to make you the best you can possibly be. Then if that doesn't happen, you don't have the cheat sheet, you don't have the chain of command and the follow through, then you're going to be lost. Then it's going to be like, you're going to drive yourself insane.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very true. Right? When you don't know who you are and you're listening to a bunch of different sources, it gets a little confusing. So I've been there. I've questioned it all, gone down rabbit holes, and they're not that fun. So if you're in one and if you don't want to go in one, then just reach out. Let's see. Robin said, what kind of questions? I believe that's when we shared the number and the email. So just reach out of any questions. I mean, nothing's really off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We got a bunch of great comments from Jay, from Georgina, from Nora, from Matea.
Let's give them some highlight love.
Let's go. Let's do a little round of highlight love. Let's see. Jay says we should give ourselves the same devotion that we give to others.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole says, yes, Brady. I certainly do agree. If you guys don't know Nicole, she's very happy that Brady won. Nicole knows more about football than probably me and Herman combined.
She probably knows more than the average person in Boston when they lost Brady.
Exactly. Jay has another comment. Our focus becomes our reality.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Georgina, can never express how grateful I am for this community. Thank you 10,000 times. Well, so thank you.
For everybody who's questioning or messaging us right now about the community, I mean, let us know, DM us. But if you want to know more about that, let us know, because we don't want people to be left behind without the support, without the guidance. And then they could be so far ahead if they just had that one simple understanding, that one cheat sheet, that one helping hand, just like Georgina.
Exactly. Yeah. So send us a message and we'll definitely get you more details on that. So Robert asked, do you do face reading graphology?
I don't. When I help people, I'm not using these to help you. That's all I'm going to say.
So Robert, I don't know if you've ever seen a video of what Herman is able to do, but within seconds of meeting you, within seconds of seeing you, even on like a video like we're doing right now, he's able to read you and tell you things about yourself that you may not even know, or the people around you don't even know, or things that you've never told anybody before. Like he has an ability, a gift to really see within you and pinpoint all of the blockages, the things that hold you back, the things that are interfering with you. Like how Nancy said that, like she feels like something is just getting in the way. Herman's able to see like what's in the way and help you understand it.
There was a lady I helped, and she's from Africa. She didn't know why she was getting sick because she's a healthcare worker. So she claims that she knows everything about health, but she doesn't know why she was getting cancer or polyps or tumors. She didn't have any idea, but here she is, well educated in the medical field, and she was getting more sick than her clients or patients, right? So she's like, what's happening here? So I had a call with her, and so I told her what was going on mentally. Then we went into the physical part as to what was happening inside that she didn't really know, even though she just came from MRI and a lot of other tests because she just got out of the hospital. So we went even deeper. She's like, what do you mean that we can go deeper? Now, if I share this, I just want to know, are you interested or not? Because I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore anyone on this. I just want to share a story. If that's something you want to hear, let me know. If you don't, I mean, that's okay too. I just want to help. So let me know in the comments. Do you want the story? Yes story, no story?
Let's go. Herman, you left us on such a cliffhanger.
Well, I want to make sure people are going to receive it the same way we're going to send it.
Yes, please. Yes, tell the story. Yes, I'm open. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So this lady, she's from Africa. She didn't know why she kept getting sick. So I told her 4 to 5 generations before her ancestors, they did certain things. They meddled in certain things. They touched and did certain things. They interfered with certain things. I can't say what because of her privacy, but she looked at me and says, nobody knows this but my mother, because they wanted to bury the secret because they were very embarrassed of what their ancestors did. They messed around with certain black magic type things. And I said to her, a lot of the things that they interfered with now, they interfere with a lot of those souls from before, and every generation that comes back, they have to keep repaying and repaying and repaying that debt. So she tells me that she used to have dreams. They stopped 5 years ago. So I say, why do you think they stopped? She said, that's when I was discovered to have said cancer, said tumor, said polyp, said all the other stuff on the list. And she says, my grandmother passed away just before that. And she said, during that time of the passing, she had the dream. The very last one she had the dream that the grandmother came to her and said to her, you will be entrusted to help our entire bloodline. And she had no idea what that meant because she didn't understand what I'm sharing with you. So after we have the call, she says, I now understand that dream. I said, how do you mean? She's like, because in the dream, it was like as if I was in a hotel, except on the first floor, there was no windows. The second floor, there's no doors. The third floor, I can't see past the ledge. Fourth floor, so forth, so forth. It's not balanced every floor that it goes up. She didn't understand it. And she says, what you just said helped me realize that because of what the great whatever grandparents did 5 generations before, hindered what they were able to do on the second floor to build. But if they weren't building this way, they were building this way. That's why they couldn't see through the window. That's why there was no door, because everything was below, below, below. And as soon as she said that, she found her smile, because she realized what the grandmother was wanting to tell her, that she would find someone to help her discover that. And now she's dedicating her entire life, because of that call, to the mission of rectifying a lot of what she had done in terms of eating, in terms of mental problems, thinking that it's all her, realizing that only a portion of it was her, but she was bringing a lot of debt that the ancestors have already accumulated, and it then got passed on and passed on until that becomes fully paid. And so now her mission in life, as it is us, is to make sure we pay down that debt, learn how to navigate that through the zodiac, through the horoscope, so that we don't accumulate more of that debt, use the cheat sheet, so then we can get ahead. Imagine your company full of debt, with very little assets in today's economy. What's going to happen to that company, Angelo?
It's not going to be around for too much longer.
If that's you, we got to change that. We got to pay down this debt, and we got to increase our assets. If that interests you, if that is something you really want to do in this lifetime, Angelo, I mean, please let them know where they can go. We want to make sure everybody has a chance to pay down that debt, increase their assets, so that they can be a so-called better person than they ever thought they could. They could literally be the beacon to their entire bloodline. And that's what she's committed her life to.
That's incredible.
You'll never guess that, because I spoke a little African to her. it just opened up her entire world, because she doesn't think someone of my culture or my skin color should know anything from Africa. And the fact that I did, all of a sudden she opened up. All of a sudden she was able to let go of all the things she was holding on to so that she could get to the other side, just from being able to speak her language.
Yeah, never underestimate the power of what that could do for somebody. Or just a simple compliment when you meet them.
And so now this lady, just so you know, Angelo, now this lady is going to do and commit her life to the cheat sheets that we're going to give her, to the guidance, so that she doesn't have to get sick in any way possible ever again, so she can make sure that the family and her so-called, how do we say, descendants don't carry that debt to continue. She's going to do her best to pay it off and ensure that the only family that she has is able to be free. That's real freedom.
And now she has a purpose. That so many people want to know like what their purpose is. And a lot of times it's just right there in front of you, but you just need that cheat sheet to figure it out and to see it. Well, Herman, thank you so much for sharing that story. I think that was very impactful. And I think everybody really enjoyed that story as well.
And so if any one of you want that type of what she has, you want that type of, let's get the results, you're ready to get those results, let us know. Message us, DM us, or click the links that Angelo has there. Whatever it is, we just want to help and ensure that this year is the year that you start turning the corner. You start getting those results. You get those achievements. We really want to make those people who feel that, you know what, we haven't been getting far enough. We really want to get you there faster and allow us to help you. That's what we do all day and night. Literally, that's what I do.
Exactly. So we're here for you. I'm going to post the link to the webinar, because if you haven't already signed up for that, I would highly recommend you to join us tomorrow. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be live. It's going to be like this, except it'll be a little bit more interactive, wouldn't you say, Herman? And it'll be a lot more in depth. And the topic is one you really don't want to miss out on, especially if you want to, experience better relationships, more love, more harmony and peace in your life. And there may be a little teaser that I can't give it all away, but you just don't want to miss it. What were you going to say, Herman?
If this is your only first experience on a live, or your first experience listening, or first experience of us, this is just like, if they were 100 levels, this is level 1.
Absolutely. So Aleem said, is the cheat sheet in the book Hero's Journey or in the online course? I guess it depends, like really what you're looking for. The cheat sheet, number 1, I know that we talked a lot about zodiacs. So if you want the cheat sheet of like understanding who you are and other people around you using the astrology and the zodiac signs, like that's a great cheat sheet for that. If you want that cheat sheet for more community and mentorship and ongoing support, then that's something that you can DM us and ask us. You can just DM us and say like IC, or just DM and say coaching, whatever is, just DM. And so we can get you that info, because it's more of an intimate type of style of coaching. If the cheat sheet that you're looking for is more of like that experience that lady had that Herman shared, you want to have like a reading from Herman. You want Herman to tell you like what blockages he sees and how to navigate, how to have your best year ever, how to make sure you get those results you're looking for. That'd be more on like on a call with Herman. So we can definitely get you details to that as well. Aleem, I know you've had a call with Herman before, but for those that haven't and they're interested in that, just DM us and say like, you could say one-on-one, you could say coaching. We'll figure the rest out in the DMs. But does that cover the cheat sheet, Herman? Because I know we have a lot of them.
But think of it this way, like that course that we're talking about, it's, how long would you say, Angelo? Maybe like an entire, like, think of it this way. You'll watch a little piece once, you think you get it, you watch it again, you learn 10 other things. You watch it again, you learn another 20 other things. You watch it again, you learn 100 different things. It's like this, we made it so impactful that it's just something that you're going to have to keep watching in terms of what it is. Like, say for instance, the rat, right? Say the ox, right? Say we go to tiger. Every single part of it, you'll start seeing certain doors that aren't open yet. But once you go back and you watch all the things that we share, and then we go into relationship of what's compatible for relationship, what's not. You go over there, and then you'll see how certain parts of why you resist certain things, or why you don't, or why you are a certain way, or why you don't. It's all about that. And how long would you say that is?
We'll put it this way. You're not going to get through it in one sitting. So I believe approximately like 5+ hours.
And then they get the bonus. So
exactly, which is an entire masterclass that Herman did about astrology and how to use that for health, better health. And Herman also shared what the 13th sign is. So, I mean, it's pretty in-depth stuff that, you know, we just can't get to on the live.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in it. And like you said, Herman, the cool thing is when you rewatch it, it's like you learn new things, and it's like timeless wisdom. I think that's the best way to put it. And I think that goes with everything that Herman shares, whether it's in the course or whether it's on your call, like re-listening to it, you know, since we're always changing and evolving, when you listen to it, it's like you pick up new things as if it was your first time hearing it. And that's to show you that like you're changing. And so the way that you're hearing it, the way you're taking in the knowledge that Herman's sharing is different because maybe you've made some of the changes. So maybe now you're able to understand it at a greater level. So it's something that for that reason, like that's why you have it for life when you do get the course.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away. We want you to have it. We want you to continue to have the answers.
And the best part is you get to keep it. You get to keep everything that's in it. You get lifetime access, Angelo?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's yours. And we want to make sure that we update it. We want to grow with it. We want to grow with you. So that's why we're doing this.
Exactly. So Robert, we'll definitely be in touch. I know you put one-on-one. So you can send us a message, or we can message you. Robin asked, would the only outcome be to heal our ancestry? I'm looking for a new purpose now that I am done raising my family.
No, there's many different things. It's just what you are open to. Sometimes you say you want it, you get it, and then you don't like what you hear because you want to run and hide, or you think it's too much work, or you think it's excuse. So sometimes we have to be open to things that we're not open to. Otherwise, we will never grow and evolve into who we're supposed to become.
Exactly. What's up, Marco? So did you guys enjoy this live? Let us know. What's your takeaway? What are you doing? I mean, day 1, year of the ox. What's your game plan? Do you have one yet? If not, you know what to do.
You're going to need one. We all need that game plan. We all need that strategy so we get the results.
Exactly. So Herman, are there any other thoughts, any other messages that you want to share with everyone? I know we've been on for a little bit, but it's been fun. I think the time flew by.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that everyone take advantage of the resources we made available. Make sure that every single person takes something away that we shared in terms of what they can apply right here, right now, and start there. But don't stay stuck. I mean, look at what Han says. I mean, Han used to be the type of person that was so quiet and timid that she wouldn't say a single thing. And now she's typing comments and doing videos. And now she's a leader of her team. So I think right there that shows just immense growth just from her alone.
Absolutely. So Robert asked, where are you located out of? I'm in Michigan. It's cold here, and Herman's in Canada.
And colder. It's colder.
I don't know. We're pretty. We get the same type of weather, so yeah, that winter definitely will teach you that thick skin. But a lot of the sessions that Herman does are online, so it's a video call. So, and he's able to do the reading through the video call, so that's pretty convenient. And our webinar tomorrow online, it's going to be at 1 p.m. We'd love to see you guys there.
Don't miss it.
Robert is actually in Chicago, grew up in Jackson, Michigan. No way. Well, number one, I'm not too far from Chicago. Number two, my aunt and uncle used to live in Jackson, but they just moved.
Small world.
Exactly. Well, cool. Well, we send our very, very best to each and every one of you. We appreciate the time that you shared with us. We love communicating with you guys and helping and chatting. So, we really want you guys to have your best year ever. So if you want the tools, like I know we've mentioned a few of them. Number one, the webinar tomorrow, it's free. So let me put the links one more time. So that's a link for the webinar. And then the link for the Zodiac course, the ultimate cheat sheet to the year of the ox. I just posted that one as well. And then for any other help you guys want, specific questions that you have about yourself or what you're going through or coaching, just send us a DM or email us or text, and we'll be happy to help.
Well, thank you to all of you that stayed and joined us and shared the new year with us. And if there's anything you need, DM us, text us, email us, whichever way. I mean, don't be shy with us.
Wonderful. Thank you guys again for sharing that new year, and make it your best one. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care.